Well, hello there. Get that adjusted a little bit. And we'll make sure everything is happy. That looks happy. One sec. Alright, we're good. Alright, you. Uh, cool. That. Okay. I think we are ready to rock. So. And then my internet immediately decides to freak out. Cool. Love that. Wake up, internet. You can do it. There. Gosh. Alright, so last time we were doing a little bit of exploration here. Are you gonna catch up there, internet? Okay. Into these labels. Because I don't love this, but it would be kind of nice to reclaim this space because we're working in a pretty small area here normally, you know. So those get lighted so fast that it would be kind of nice. And then we'll also need to do something with this. This will get shorter here, but it's still going to be a reasonably compact UI, right? So let me just, it's going to make so many more. Stop it. Okay, so let's look at a couple other. We were trying to track down if there were other built-in label options. And there was a, yeah, shut up. Oops. There's a property for this. Input decoration collapsed. Hint text. Error text, hint text. Prefix and suffix. None of that is what we want. Don't need that. I might need... What was the, It's in here. Hint style? Well, it's not really a hint. It's, that's a different thing. I guess it'd be label style. Which is a text style. Which gives us things, but not what we want. Yeah. Okay, so we would have to do our own thing in here, which we could do. That's not terrible, right? So we have a text form field. We could put you inside of a column. Like so. Right. And then oops. We might not even need a row there. Come to think of it, we would maybe just be able to get away with a text here. With name in it. What if we did that? Okay, we would need to... Uh-oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Nope, it's stuck. It's been happening all day. Got like wicked allergies today or something. Cross-axis alignment. To the start. We'd put name over there, right? And that's already pretty good. We can do a padding here. Child is that. Needs a padding. Like if I could spell. Let's do only. And we'll do like 10 on the bottom and 10 on the left, just for giggles. I mean, that's not bad at all. Maybe just a tiny bit more of a scooch. I do kind of like that. I do like it. What we could do to make that a little bit easier to work with. Is we could pull that out. And we could call you, it's just for the map editor. We could do that. Could call it that. Oops. do this. Adjust my chair there. Helps if I do a constructor. Get the key. So I can do... This be final. So we can return a column here. Which would be essentially this column here. Like this. We need to close that and that. And then in here, one too many. In here we can say child. Why can't I say child? Is this live? Maybe. Are you live? That needs to be that. So if it's not, no. And if we to do that, then we would be able to... Oh, we don't need to do this, though. We need to have... Let's do this. The label. I can't do that. I guess I can do that. Okay. Let's do that. And then in here... You're from Nepal? Cool. We'd be able to, instead of all this, say sidebar form field, right? Which has a couple of properties. Label would be our text again. And then we can put form field inside the child property here, like so. We need to get rid of that. We need to get rid of that. And then all of this is still good, and then we can do the same sort of thing in here. Actually, we want to make sure. Yeah, we have our padding still. Child of this becomes sidebar form field, label, we don't need that other stuff, I don't think. It should shrink before then. So we could do that. The child becomes all of this. Oops. Yes, all of that. But I don't need this. I've got... Wait, what happened there? No, you're there. You're here. Oh, it's because you were set as a const. There we go. Okay. And then I just need to... Wait, where do we have widget list? Right there, okay. There we go. Oh, because I just broke. Crap. What is Mud Engine? It's a game engine that runs a mud game. I need... I still need to have this in here just for the sake of having the correct number of table rows. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get rid of this table. I like this more. Pretty sure. And if not, we'll just chuck it. So we're going to get rid of this. Like so. This can be a column instead. Like so. That should be okay. Type of panel anti-cheat? No, it's the game editor, the server editor. Okay, so now we just need to chuck that. We need this to instead of this. I've got an extra one of them. This will become sidebar form field. Label, if I could type, text, ID. You need to be... No, I don't even need this at all anymore. This. Okay, and then that is... There we go. Get rid of those. I'm gonna pull you up here. Chuck that, chuck that, chuck that, chuck that. All this up here. You. That. Is gonna be that. All that goes away. All this live for what? Passion? Yep. Sidebar form field. Label, text. Leave message. Child. Text form field, all that. Oops. Like so. Like Oh, that's right. We put you in a row. That's fine because this is a widget parameter, so we can just chuck that in. We do need to get rid of that, though. All of that. Like so. This up here. Got something missing in here. Close that. I closed that. I closed you. Oh, that. That's what's wrong. And then I missed a comma. Do your work auto format. There we go. Now, okay. I messed up ID. That's fine. And I also need to put the padding back into the frame. ID. That was like that. This needs to be this, but this needs to be in a text widget. Like so. Forgot to string you. What are you telling me my issue is here? One too many commas, that's what. Or parens, rather. Okay. That fixes the ID. Wait, no. Doesn't quite fix the ID. Why are you over there? Because this column also needs you to... nice to meet you. Good night. Okay, good night. This needs to have an alignment at the start as well. Like so. Perfect. The others stretch out, so they filled it, but this one doesn't. I want to do... $10? 20. $30. I like that more. I also want to put the padding on top of these guys, so... Put that in. Yeah. I like that more. And it has the side effect of... We now only need to be this wide to avoid overflowing, which is still wider than the default, but it's a lot better. In fact, if we're full screen, I bet you it doesn't overflow at all. Fix that little visual glitch there. Yes, good. This will change anyway, but it's closer to the right direction. And that pleases me. So we're going to come back and do this one. But for now, we'll leave this here. We will do a commit for you. Switch to vertical form labels instead of the table for the narrow sidebar forms. Yeah, I know. Stop it, Flutter. I saw you the first time. Okay. The DC's here. We need to make something real for them. Let me also just go chuck... Yeah, I know. It's the most annoying thing. Let me go chuck a note to myself here. I have too many things open. Room template, connection template. I think we're done with you for now. Switch room templates to vertical labels like connection templates. Okay, more better. All right, so shut up. Over here in, let's put that over, oops, here. So we're going to need to do a similar thing to what we did, to where we need to populate this the drop down menu, but then also select what it's currently set to based on the ID. And then the we need to have like a none as well. And so this is going to need to have a skill controller. We'll get there in a second. Right meow. Status effects, I believe, has the code we need to refer to remember how to do the drop down menu. Oh, you know what? No, it's in the edit panel. And it was down here in the effects to modify. Must have missed it. Help text. Stacks with self. Stacks with others. Property modify. Here we go. So we need a controller for you. This is a text editing controller. I remember that drop down menu of modifier option. And then the other drop down menu is modifier menu, which we do down here to set you. So this we can just do attributes, but we would do, instead of attributes, we would do skills. We still need a controller. We resolve initial selection by just going through No, we do get on by ID, which we can do still because this is a interface, and we implement you or extend you in this case. Okay. So let's actually pull this over here. Leave that there. We're going to need 2 more controllers. Let's go ahead and set those up. You are the spot DC skill controller. Text editing controller. Text will be editable template copy. Spot DC. Skill ID. Ooh, actually, no. I don't think we set the initial text here. We let that be the job of this guy. We just create you. And then make sure we call dispose on you when we dispose of this widget. And we need another for use DC skill controller. Text editing controller. Use DC skill controller, dispose. Okay, perfect. Meow. Let's also go ahead and get skill controller. Skill controller. Acquired this dot skill controller. Because we don't want to... Oh, I can't start a name parameter with underscore. Fine then. Be that way. We don't want to reload every time we open this guy, right? So we're going to let the parent have it that. Except we did this in here. Do I want to put it in here? No. I want to do it. Is doing it in template bar sufficient? Yes, it should be, because that'll get all loaded as part of this. And then we can also check in the same time here that we make sure that we're able to load the connection and room templates. So we can do skill controller, skill controller, skill controller, file path. We need to grab, we need to have this fed in somehow. So we don't just have these strings floating around here, but from right meow, skill config file path is, we start at the root here. So yeah, it's going to be up one server. Where did I put you? server config skills.json. Config skills JSON. Like so. And then this can now be skill config file path. Load data. We need to have you. Load items. Same deal here. Like so. Like that. Okay. And then I believe this is the same thing in the air. Right here. And then I'm going to also call this, instead of this controller, this will be template controller. Like so. Skill controller. This really can't be null. Why are you not? Oh, duh. Widget skill controller. And then we got to come up here. All right, because I have my connection template widget, which is just my list view. I think I want to try to get rid of that widget and just combine them all into one. We'll do that in a minute, though. Or, like, later. For right meow, I'm really just concerned with getting things working in a reasonable manner. Okay. Now we have our access to our skill controller in here. Which means I need to go back to... need to clean some of this stuff up first, that's for sure. I think we're done with the room template stuff for right this second. I think we're done with that for right this second. You. Because we're gonna cheat off of ourselves. Okay. This will be a drop-down menu. Oh, actually, hang on. Yes, inside of the row, drop-down menu of the type skill. You get imported. And then this skill controller items map, same way we did here. Skill. You And we just did turn drop down menu entry. Value is the skill, label is the skill name. Perfect. We need to list you though. Valid type can't be assigned a parameter list. Drop down menu entry skill. See what I've missed up here. Drop down menu entry to list. You're a skill. Map over you. I don't think so. Oh, I put my two lists in the wrong spot. There. There we go. Okay. Then we have a drop down with no things in it. I need to reload, I think. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to get rid of this. I shouldn't have gotten rid of the comment. I do need to go back and verify that. And then... Yeah. Hush. We're going to need to say initial selection. We need to do the same thing here. I think because this one doesn't need to be generic, because this is made to handle both skills and attributes. So because this one doesn't need to do that, I think we can actually do it in here. We also need to remember to give it the controller. Which we called use DC skill controller, or spot DC. Initial selection. This should just be attribute controller, yeah, because we passed it in. So get item by ID widget dot skill not skill control use DC spot DC guy, sorry. Template spot DC dot skill ID. Spot DC cannot be null. Also can't be null. Okay. So, because this doesn't have any nil, there we go. Yeah. There we go. There's our perception, and there's our little guy there, the DC number. We also need the ability to set this to null. But before we do that, let's also do the same theming that we did before. This, that, that. Makes it match with the rest of the form. Perfect. Okay. How did I do none? Oh, I did. I let it. I let the leading set of options drive this. Adding a none in here is going to be tricky because we would need to add a fake. Or make this nullable. One sec, I gotta blow my nose. I'm dying of allergy today. Okay. Making it nullable is already going to be I mean, there's already enough pain in the butt nullableness going on here that would make things more complicated. The other thing we could do is we can give it a little delete icon, which I think I like better. As long as we have the space for them. Only one way to find out. In here, instead of this, we're going to have a number picker instead. Oh, I forgot to do... Hang on, before we do that. We do need to, in here, go and do our onSelected work as well. This will give us a skill. And we're going to say that we... Why did we do this in a set state? I don't think we need to do this in a set state, do we? Hi to you as well. Think here. I don't know why that triggered spamming from Nightbot. I'm sorry about that. What am I doing? Please explain. I'm building the editor for a mud engine game. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? I think we had to set the state so that the drop-down would work correctly? No. I don't know why that's done in set state over there. It might be a mistake. Let's try it over here without. And because this is not nullable, we should just be able to go quad DC skill ID is the UUID here. I'm also learning game art 3D modeling. Cool. And now I need to know why you are... Oh, because... Okay, so this is nullable because it has to be. This can't be null for this to work. This can't be null for this to work. Oh, because... We need to know if you're null here. How are we going to UI this? So right now, if nothing's set, it'll be blank. Which we don't necessarily want. I think what we want to do here, which kind of leads into the thing we need to check for the to handle correctly. I think we want to kind of follow the pattern where we do the same way we did over here with status effects, where if it doesn't have one set, we display just something like that, and then you have the ability to add it. I think that's what we want to do. So, when we click on here, you'll have that. You're from India? Cool. This can't be null in this case. Oh, skill can't be null. So we're going to have to add an empty skill here. Like you're in trouble? I'm not in trouble at all. I'm working on understanding and figuring out what I want to do, and fuck AI. What I need to do here... Well, this is going to return me... Okay, yeah. Oops. Don't do that, please. This has to be... Does it have to be final? Or what we could do here is just say... We don't want to overwrite... We don't want to overwrite it if you happen to have a DC set already and you're just changing the skill. But we can still do... that. And then here we can say if this doesn't equal 0, we do need to say that you can't be null if we're in here. So we're gonna have to null check the whole thing pretty heavily. Then this is spot DC. DC. Otherwise, it'll just be 0. Here we need to make sure that this isn't null before we try to do all this stuff. Which means we don't need to do that anymore. We've already checked it. You want to see the output? There you go. Here's the output. I think that takes care of it. I might be missing an edge case in here. We're gonna go with that. We do need to check up here, which we've already got ourselves a note. This right here, we want a number picker in here. Oh, we also need to say in here, we do need to set a state, which it appears we forgot to do in here. We need to set state here. We should probably set modified flag here. So here, instead of this guy, oh, we need a controller for you too. That's right. Okay. Let's do that really quick. Let's actually put it up here. We'll group them like this. Spot DC. Number controller, I guess we can say. Text editing controller. And we'll just go ahead and create the other one for the use DC as well. Make sure we dispose them. You can then be spot DC number controller. The on change will get a little trickier. And I gotta remember, we have a validator, have an int. I believe I just need to set the I need to set the text into the controller on this one. So spot DC. So in here we say text is if the spot DC isn't null. If it's not, then our text, actually this isn't nullable, I don't think. The toString, I don't think I can return null here. Maybe I can. You can't be null if I'm in here. Okay, so I can do that instead. That'll work. And then we have our onChange. We get a value out of U as well. And we're going to do... I want this to only appear. Well, no. Because then you'd have to add a button to create it. So I think we're going to want it just to be here. So really, if this is null up here, I need to go back to this. Otherwise, it's 0. But I have to string to you. .dc. Do I need to do that? Are you confused? I'm confused. Oh. Because it's a string. Duh. There we go. Okay. And then controller set onChange value. Gets a little function in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to say editable template copy dot spot DC dot DC equals value. Are you final? You're final. Okay. I don't think I want you to be final. I think DC needs to be modifiable. That makes more sense to my brain. Oh, but my number picker width constraints are inbound. Is that going to be it? Yep, that is definitely a problem. Okay, so we need to fix that too. Which is fine. Am I allowed to do an expanded in here? I wonder. Incoming height constraints are unbound. That's because I think I actually need to expanded you. Oh, there's something else going on there. Incorrect use of parent data widget. Right. I remember that now. Let's get that out of there. And that's because over here, template container connection template form in our list viewer builder. Template container is a container and not something else. But inside of that we put you, which we could just chuck you in a column, I think. Oh, I put them wrong. That goes there. That goes there. Okay, now you're non-zero flex still. Think I'm allowed to do this now? Could also be wrong though. No. Why not? Okay, if I'm not allowed to do that now, that means my understanding is incorrect of this and why I was not allowed to do this. Okay. So let's put that back. Row is independent, does not provide a finite width constraint. Consider setting main axis size to main axis size min using flex fit. Okay, we can do that actually. That's going to work in this case, I think. Size, main axis size min. Flex fit loose fits for the flexible children. So in here, flexible child is the drop-down menu. And then we do the same thing. Child is a number picker. That guy can go away. We're not using him anymore. Okay, and then we can also do, what did it say? Flex loose? Wow. It doesn't really matter. That is too big, though. We want to do... a couple things in here. So my row... spacing 20, let's just say, to get them scooched apart a little bit. That's good. But I want to do... I do want it expanded here so that this row fills the horizontal. That's going to break it again, but that's fine. We can also flexfit.loose for the flexible children. While we're here. I can't do that, though. Unless they're meaning just the flexible does that automatically. Anyway, what I was getting at here is I'm going to want another row for the button if we're going to do that route. That would be outside of my expanded. I would do another expanded. Ooh, but you're not. Crap. I forgot about that. This one, no. Because sidebar form field only takes one child. Which is this row. So I actually need you to be in another row. That row is going to end here. That ended, that ended. This should be the parent row. This should be the parent row. Oh, I've got it backwards, that's why. No, I don't. I'm an idiot. I've got one too many, that's what I've got going on. But I don't. Hang on. This is this set. So this one should be there. That's correct. This should be you as well. That's correct. This should be the inner set of row. That's correct. And that's correct. Widget row, widget flexible, widget list, the row, you are, oh, I am missing one. There we go. Okay. Now, you're still unhappy, I know. the parent row here. We've got that row. We do another row here for the buttons and things. We expanded you as well. Right now it doesn't have any children in it, but that's okay. Let's do a quick rebuild there. Okay, there's still something wrong here. But I do want this to be right here. Oh, I didn't do this yet. So I want this row, I want them, both of these children rows to be expanded. There, perfect. That makes them fitty-fitty. So that scrunches that down and makes everything happy. There we go. Okay. Put buttons in me to delete, create a new DC object. Okay. There. Am I missing anything else there? If we just make you 0, that kind of handles that in a good way. 0 is allowed. Otherwise, we'd have to add a bunch of buttons. And it would kind of make the clutter problem worse for not a ton of value. We just need to make sure that here it's not null and it's not 0 when we write it out. We don't want to write 0 because that'll just have a 0 in there. And it's just data we don't need. We can omit that and assume if it's not in there, it's 0. I'm going to say that this is not nullable. If there's nothing in there, we're going to say you're 0. That makes this just need to be that. And then that will break... we'll say that you're 0 unless otherwise specified. Okay. That's going to handle both of those. I don't think I want this to be final. I think I just want to say that you can modify this. That's what I think. Because that really makes a mess in here. When we can just say that you become equal to that. Like so. That's just way, way nicer. I do want to then double check though in our testing. Difficulty check test. On Marshall. On Marshall. On Marshall. Marshall. We're going to make sure here JSON 0 DC value. That this, and then we expect contains key DC false. Okay, perfect. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come in here and add test because we only changed one thing. Screens, map editor, wait. Yes. Difficulty check. So both of those can go into a single commit. Oops. I will say, skill ID and DC do not need to be final. Allow modifying this object. Okay, and then we can also do the status effects. Leave to do for myself. You can push those up, that's fine. Okay. That way those changes are kind of isolated. Alright. Meow. What we can do is actually commit all the rest. Drop in the drop down number picker for the spot DC. Like so. Let's go ahead and then take care of the use DC in a similar way before we start getting crazy here. So this is going to be use DC, that's fine. Row, that's fine. Here we need to do the second row. You like so. This goes in here. That goes there. And then here. We do that. And then in here, we do our drop-down menu stuff. So drop-down menu. Go back to referring to this one. Drop-down menu. This is also a skill. Same exact code, basically. I'm rewriting it so that I can start to help myself remember it. We need a controller, which is our use DC skill controller. Drop-down menu entries. This is the skill controller items we map over you. for the skills in here, we are going to do build the list, return, drop down menu entry. I'm gonna blow my nose again here in a second. Value is the skill, label is skill.name, like so. Then the initial selection. We're going to do the same thing we did here. Skill controller get by ID. Get item by ID. This is widget template dot usedc not .dc dot uu skill ID. That's what you are. usedc cannot be null here. That can't be null either. We'll need to check that as well. That's fine for now. Okay, this gonna get out of here. We'll need to do our on selected has a value. I think that was a nullable value though, right? It is. It is. We're gonna do that. Do that. If you're not null, then editable template copy dot usedc skill ID equals skill dot uuid. Again, you can't be not that you right here can't be null. Perfect. And then we needed to set state for the... Did I forget to do that over here? Did. But here I should actually say if not modified, then go ahead and do that. Oops. Down here. Because we don't want to set state if we don't need to. All right, one sec. Okay. I lied, one sec. There we go. Okay. Modified is true in that case. We need to do the same thing down here. So when we do that, if not modified... Ugh, wrong character. Set state. Modified. True. That one. Okay. Now you become a number picker. Ooh, I need to put these guys in the flex too. It's okay. We'll do that in just a second. This guy right here. Use DC skill controller. Nope, nope. Use DC number controller. This is the on change value. This one's simpler. We just say editable template copy use dc.dc equals value. Ooh, we actually need to do same deal there. We need to do our set state here as well. Make sure I did that up here, which I don't think I did. I did not. If can't type at all, set state modified true. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then I needed to set in here. Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, yeah, okay. So I did main axis size and spacing here, which I need to do right here. Main axis size, min. There we go. And then you guys need to be inside of a flexible, I think. Oops. Actually, hang on. Let's challenge that assumption. If I save you. I have no... Oh, this is not. This is the tests. Go back to that. Just going to restart this thing real quick. Make you embiggened. There we go. Connections. Yep. Okay. Everything exploded. That's fine. Flexible. Child. You. Flexible. Child. You. Put you in the wrong spot. There we go. And that fixes everything. Hello to you too. There. Okay. So we forgot to set. That's okay. It's just ugly. We can fix it. We have the technology. Number controller. Text. Same deal. Editable template copy. Use DC. It's not null. Then use DC. DC to string. Otherwise, chuck a 0 in there. But I don't have... You should be 5. Why aren't you 5? Do I need to reload? I need to fix my styling real quick too. While I'm here, let me do that really quick. That was up here, and I need to do wherever, it doesn't really matter. Input decoration theme. Filled is true. Border decoration. No, input border none. Right? Yes. There we go. That part's working. I just need to now get my... Figure out why my athletics doesn't have a DC in it. Go controller, get it. Okay, that's working. It's the number picker. Use DC number controller. Invalid number. Use DC. DC to string. Number controller. For funsies, do that for me. I can't do that because it throws the error before that happens, I guess. Could do it in... Could just debug it too, but... Editable template copy, use DC. Print you here after you init. Are you writing the entire code? Yes. I would need to rebuild to get that to trigger. Instance of difficulty check. You can't be null. Rebuild you. Five and 10. Oh, there it is now. Okay. I did just need to rebuild. Okay. So, when this shrinks, that gets a little funky. Let's do... actually, hang on. Let's do this. Okay, in the use DC form elements. Like so. We want to ellipsis these guys, and I think I can do that. I think I would have to do it... Well, there is a text style in here. What was it? You're still in the room template form. Overflow is text overflow dot ellipsis. There we go. That one. That. If I rebuild you. Doesn't change it. In which company are you working? Not a dev one. So why do you let me set a text style if you don't actually work? It doesn't super matter what I actually want to do. Maybe we don't even care. I want this to be like 70%. And then our currently placeholder can be the other 30. Which will help that anyway. Why isn't my shrink working now? I'll have to figure out what I broke there, I guess. That's annoying. Is this one working? No. Damn it. Okay. So that's going to help that some. But I also wonder... It just doesn't degrade as gracefully as I would like. It would be nicer. I need to either change... Do you have a roadmap for MongoDB? What do you mean? Let's see here. I don't know if I want this number picker to grow forever, but also... If I was to put these guys... Well, I could also cheat this over a little bit. Which again would help some, but it does make that kind of huge. And then as it gets smaller, it does eventually degrade to being useless. Which I don't really love. I could do... I could, like, stack them. I don't think I love that idea either, though. What I think I want to do is give it like a min and a max. But I gotta be careful not to break my other form doing that. And I'm a little worried that's not gonna be enough. Well, I guess there's only one button. It's still gonna be kind of squooshed. I like the spacing better this way. Pretty sure. So let's do that really quick. On both of these guys. So that things get squared away there. A roadmap for learning Flutter from beginner to advanced. Roadmap.sh, man. I don't know if there's any Flutter on it. That's the closest thing to a roadmap. I just looked at the tutorial, did that, and started working. I could do that. Let me do this just so it gets set flex issues for drop down or DCs. That's fine. So I'm gonna go mess around and be able to easily roll back from here. The number picker is going to be down here in widgets. You're in an expanded, but that's because the text form field needs to be bounded, I think is the one. Can I do... Could do a layout builder. I could also maybe get away with a sized box and then have except for that that doesn't allow me to have a min. Well, I guess it would. I could do this. The width being, let's just say 300. Does that destroy everything? Kind of. Because it won't shrink then. Right. That's a problem. For some reason I thought... Was it a container? No. We did it in the client. We did this technique for something. I want to say it was character select. It is a sized box. Okay. But that's still going to make me overflow. Roll that back. I think I want to do a layout builder. I think that's the only way this widget is going to become usable and reusable like I want it to be. Because then I can get constraints. Oh yeah, shut up. You're not overflowing anymore. Stop it. Because then I can interact with the actual box constraints that it has to work with. And then I can determine what the bare minimum is. No, you're not. Shut up. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. Make this use a layout builder so it can be driven based on constraints, set min, and max width. For or to maintain usability as much as possible. So that's what we're going to do with that. But that's going to be it for today. I'm going to wrap it up here. It is Monday, right? Yeah, it is Monday. So thanks for coming and hanging out. Thanks for the chats. Thanks for the lurks. I do this thing roughly 2 hours a night, 4 days a week, starting on Friday and ending today. I also sometimes stream during the middle of the week if I have time. But usually we play games or do something crazy then. It's the plan. So anyway, if you want to see more of this thing, show back up Friday at around about 8 p.m. Central, and I should be here doing more of it, and I would love to see you again. And if not, then we'll catch you some other time. You guys have a great weekend anyway, and we'll catch you